Today I'm doing an unboxing and a first look at the QubeStove. It's a rotating outdoor pizza oven and a pellet stove. Hey, this is Ricer from Dead Broke Barbecue, Wisconsin, and welcome back to the channel. But if you're new here, we try to help you enhance and amplify your backyard barbecue fun. Now today is the first day for the QubeStove Kickstarter program, and it's October 29th, 2020, and I think it runs until November 18th, 2020. So check the links below and head on over there and check it out for yourself. This little outdoor pizza oven is fantastic. The fire pit on that surprised me how great and how long it runs. Now I used a grain scoop and I was impressed on how many pellets this little QubeStove can hold. I put scoops in there, not just handfuls. Now it was a beautiful day in Wisconsin because it was snowing and it wasn't sticking, but I was impressed at how great the QubeStove ran and held temperatures. I mean, it was around 32 degrees and I still hit that pizza stone at 900 degrees. So grab your grain scoop and a pail of pellets, Pedro. It's time we amplify some backyard barbecue fun. Now the QubeStove is the first outdoor pizza oven with a rotating pizza stone. Now the manufacturer is QStoves, and a lot of you have probably seen their portable outdoor heaters. And I'll have a link in the description below so you can check out the QubeStove for yourself. Well, what am I waiting for? It's snowing out. I better get this thing put together before I get cold. Ah, there's a deer. Little buck. He must have heard that I'm gonna be putting the QubeStove together, but I ain't making pizza today. Ah, there he goes. That's all right, buddy. Now in full disclosure, QStove sent me the QubeStove to do a complete and honest review using it. They also sent me a QStove's pizza peel. And if you look right here, it's even got QStoves on the handle and a pizza cutter. Now my packaging might look different than yours because the QubeStove is not released to the public yet. Now this is gonna be your pizza oven chimney. We got a bearing and we got your rotating hand wheel. All right, let's get in the other boxes now. Here's your hook and pick tool. We got our fire pit and stove detachable handle. And right here, we're gonna have our QubeStove fire pit. Slide this over and we'll get plastic off this. It's got a little weight to it. Put this like this for right now. And then on the back end, you're gonna have your ash catch. Now let's open up the big box. Put my knife away so I don't get hurt. Make sure you put it in your pocket. And here should be our main body for our pizza oven. Get that put down. Get this turned around and get the plastic off. Wow, a bonus. I got an extra pizza cutter. Can't have enough of them. And we got a nice wooden pizza peel. That's perfect for putting them in the actual pizza oven. This is gonna be your pizza stone rotating plate that we'll put together. We've got our QubeStove oven lid and the handle that'll get attached to it. And all you're gonna need for this assembly is a Phillips screwdriver. And for all of you that get confused between a straight and a Phillips, well, Phillips looks like this. And finally, I've got my 12.5-inch pizza stone. Be very careful with this because it will crack. You're just gonna wanna make sure that you're handling this with kid gloves. I never really understood the term kid gloves because kids break stuff all the time. Or maybe that means like when you handle kids, you're gentle? But like all of us with boys, I don't know if there's such a thing as kid gloves with them. All right, everything's unpacked. Let's go ahead and start assembling the QubeStove. And this should be what you're actually receiving from QubeStove in your package. But obviously they're gonna have other accessories available that you can go ahead and add to your order. Now it's time for us to start putting together the QubeStove. And the first thing we're gonna assemble is the lid itself. Now you're gonna see that the handle is slotted out and you got a couple screws already set for you. And then on the lid, it's got this little lip with the screw holes. Now you're gonna wanna take your Phillips screwdriver and just back those screws out just a little bit to make sure that you can get this through that slot. And now with a little pressure, just start working that handle all the way down till it's tight. Now just go ahead and grab your Phillips screwdriver and tighten them up. Now you'll know that you've got them set right if they turn all the way in. Just snug them up a little bit, and once you hear it kind of crink, you know you're tight. And now we're gonna start assembling our pizza stone, and you're just gonna take and line these up, and they're just gonna stop and they're gonna hold on there. Just put on the bearings. It's 3 pieces, and they say tight first, and that's one with some identification on it. That just sits like this. And you get your rollers, and then you got your loose, and that just sits like that. You just kind of wiggle it down. It's not gonna go all the way, obviously. But we get it to where it stops, we're good. Now this is gonna be the tricky part. You're gonna wanna hold this like this, and we're gonna flip it over. Now you can see the hole here. And now we're just gonna slowly bring this in and line it up. And once you feel that hole, you're gonna pop right in there, just like that. Now we can go ahead and start putting it together. We're gonna wanna turn our QubeStove this direction, pick up the oven itself, fold out the legs, just like that. That's gonna line up with the QubeStove itself, and you're just gonna wanna take your time and set it right on top of there. Go ahead and put your chimney on, and it's gonna be tight. Now just simply go ahead and put your hand wheel onto the pizza plate. And once you feel it tight, just give it a little snug, and voila, turns. Now this handle is for the firebox itself. It just hooks in right in the top. All right, so let's just go ahead and hang our lid. Now to be honest with you, that was a super easy assembly. So what are we waiting for? Let's get the QubeStove fired up. Now to light up the QubeStove, we're gonna use 1 scoop of pellets, and I'm starting off with about 4 handfuls in this. So we're gonna take our little hook, open it up, and then we're just gonna pour 1 scoop right down in there. Now you're gonna wanna pick up some good tumbleweeds and a good stick lighter. Just light it up. Make sure she's burning, and just plop her down in there, and it'll look like that. And you can see down in there we got some of the pellets. And now you can just take your poker and close it up. So these pellets are starting to light up. Let's go ahead and add another scoop. Open it up. You can see that we're getting a good flame in there, but let's go ahead and dump some more in. Now I'm just gonna let this preheat for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll check and see if we start getting some flame to come out of the top of it. So it's been 10 minutes and the QubeStove is really starting to take off. I'm still not up to that 1,000 degrees, but you can see there's a good rolling fire coming out of that. Well, we're closing in on that 800 degrees, but we'll give her a few more minutes. You can hear it starting to expand in there a little bit too. Now, as the QubeStove is starting to heat up, you're gonna hear that metal start to expand. Don't worry, that's just normal. To me, it's always very important to do a burn off on any type of equipment that I'm gonna be cooking food in outdoors. From the manufacturing process, there's always gonna be a little bit of machining oil and other debris and contaminants. So you just wanna make sure you do your first fire up with no food in it to burn all that stuff out. Now it's certainly looking pretty good in there, but you can see how this is just a easy turntable. And also remember that this is stainless steel, so this is gonna be very hot to the touch. You're not gonna wanna let any kids get near this part of it because they're gonna end up getting hurt, so keep them clear. But on the fire pit part of the QubeStove, that's still warm to the touch. You're gonna wanna watch out, especially by the ash catch. But I am very impressed the way the gravity fed pellet hopper is working. Now, one thing that I forgot to tell you is that you're supposed to turn these legs out just a little bit, about 40 degrees, and that'll make the QubeStove a lot sturdier. But man, look at that flame in there. That is awesome. So I've been running the QubeStove for about half an hour now, and I'm pretty impressed with it overall. Now, it's pretty cold out today, and it was snowing earlier, and I hope I got some of that on film, but the maximum that I could get on the QubeStove was 800 degrees. But let's take a temperature reading on that 12.5-inch rotating stone. Let's pop off the lid. Let's check her out. Oh yeah, we're still at 900 and some degrees on this. Whoa. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. Look at how pretty it looks down in there though. Rolling flame. So my very first impression on the QubeStove is that I'm really impressed with that fire pot and the way that that thing cooked this whole time. Now I added another scoop of pellets to it, and that gave me about 30 minutes of cook time. Now you can do a lot of Neapolitan pizzas at 900 degrees in 30 minutes. Now during warmer temperatures, I can easily see this thing getting up to 1,000 degrees inside that oven. Now the next time that I use the QubeStove, I'm gonna do up some cheese pizzas, and we're just gonna check to see how that thing cooks overall. But with this having the rotating stone in it, I mean, come on, that's a lot less work. You don't have to sit and pull your pizza out and turn it. Now you can just turn it and look through the window. Now obviously I'll have a link in the description below that'll run you over to the QubeStove, but remember the manufacturer is QStoves. This is the QubeStove, the company's QStoves.com. And you can tell when it's time to go ahead and add a few more pellets to it when it starts smoking a little bit in the back end. But I'm certainly gonna have some fun cooking in this oven. This is also just a nice little fire pit, and I'll tell you, this could be a great little thing for ice fishing. And after you get done cooking pizzas, you can warm up by the campfire. So the next time you see me, we're gonna start going ahead and cooking up some cheese pizza on the QubeStove. I could stay out here all day. This thing's nice and warm.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become a subscriber. Turn on that notification bell because you don't want to miss the next video on the QubeStove. I know you don't. Click all, ding ding, and then it's done. I'm really excited to start doing some pizzas on the QubeStove, but I appreciate you watching and I'll see you in the next video.
But let's take a quick reading on that 12.5-inch rotating skull. No.
Today, I'm gonna abbreviate things. Today, I'm back. I hate it when I get an eyelash that sticks over my eye and I can see it because these lights are so bright. Gosh. Today I'm doing an unboxing and a Jesus. Gotta wash down some of that COVID.